two guys here at the end that we discussed in detail at times. Charles O'Neill, my good friend and podcasting partner, one of the guys that helped organize this show this weekend. We've had a lot of differences of opinion on this, so it's always interesting talk, and I have no idea what Scorpio's take on continuity is. Right. I am looking forward to listening to some of that. And our own Bruce MacIntosh, he's a writer for Back Issue Magazine, as well as the Pulse, which is a comic book website, and also one of the co-organizers of the con. And for those of you who are interested, right, take a look. He authored a book called The D-Less Characters of the DC Universe. So he has his own take about continuity as well that we've occasionally disagreed on also. So I think it should be a lively discussion. So take it away, guys.
Well, first off, kind of focusing on Bruce's book real quick. If you read more than 2 DC titles, I definitely recommend picking up that book, because at some point you're not going to know who somebody is, and you look through his book and it'll answer that.
It's a great book. It's what, like $10?
$10.
It is huge. It's a massive topic. We were just talking about how like Batwoman, the new Batwoman, has like almost 10 pages. She's been in like 15 comics. So you'll know your information if you got that book. So.
I got through all the chronology. We're not, I don't like have the list of it, but I'll tell you where these appearances were, like major appearances, and how that shifted continuity and changed their backstories.
Alrighty, so this is, of course, continuity, friend or foe. Anybody that's read more than 2 comic books in their life has run into continuity in some shape or form. So we're going to kind of discuss how it affects characters, especially those that have been around for forever, like Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. Especially Spider-Man recently has had some interesting continuity issues. And kind of see what your guys' take is on it, along with everyone up here. So,
I would like to say that while I have not read Brand New Day, I've read stuff since that, and I'm all for the breakup of the marriage and having it never existed, because it's all, everyone thinks it erases the continuity. No, the continuity's still there. It's everything, the universe has been altered, and it's always being altered. In comics, everyone wants it to be this one cohesive, linear reality. When my personal beliefs, like on the universe, kind of strange, but I do believe in parallel universes, and I grew up with that because I was handed Secret Origins of DC Superheroes book when I was 3 years old, and so I grew up with at least two versions of each character. I grew up since I was 3. I knew that Batman Earth 2 was the original Batman, and Batman Earth 1. And to me, that was just more fun. It was like more versions, but it's all part of continuity because it exists. But I don't really, if they change things just to fit it into this narrow idea of what has happened, what has not happened, I don't really get upset, because it's all just kind of make-believe anyway. And also, if you go all the way back to the New Testament, there's 4 Gospels, and they all have different versions of Jesus, and they contradict each other. But, so it's all different. They all have different agendas about self. Each group of writers, creators, they have different agendas about what these characters stand for whatever archetypal meaning they have. And so, they're just putty in their hands. It's not dogma, and that's where I get a little frustrated when people get upset about things getting changed, because it's like this is entertainment. These are, as much as I like them, they are corporate entities, and they have to change in order not to stagnate. But I'll let someone else talk.
I'll do it. Go for it. I actually agree with everything you said except for the Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah?
That but going to my first comics, these superhero comics, my introduction to them was reprints of the Justice League, the first appearances of the Earth 2 Justice Leagues, the Crisis on Earth 1, 2, 3, and so forth. And so I grew up with that, and I love it. And if it has multiple universes, I'm all in. So it was kind of a drag when Crisis on Infinite Earths put everything in one continuity, and that's where it got screwed up. It's trying to fit everything in. It's like jumbling up 10 jigsaw puzzles and then trying to make one big puzzle out of it.
But if you think about it, it's still all part of the DC universe. DC Comics is the one continuity. Everything they've ever published happens within their continuity.
I'm a firm believer that the human mind has a limited capacity for sorting out information. And I think, well, I'm kind of a linear guy anyway, so if I have Earth 1 or 2 or 3, I'm good with that. And so I know that these guys are on Earth 1, and then these guys are on Earth 2, and sometimes they interact. And it's like the best part, does anybody watch the Brave New World cartoon series? The best one was almost the season-ending one where Batman goes to a parallel Earth and battles his counterpart who's evil. And then it's a two-parter, and at the end of it, he's about to lose, but he teleports himself and uses the time thing to go onto other multiple Earths, gather up all the parallel Batmans and bring back the butts of all the bad guys. So I love the parallel Earth things. But they each have their own continuity, and within their own, the master continuity of the DC. What I don't like is when, I guess when the publishers are kind of disingenuous about their I don't want to say motivations, but their mechanisms for straightening out continuity. And when they just screw up, when they try to straighten out continuity, they just screw up. So if they hadn't done much of anything,
Did you read House of M?
I did.
What did you think?
I loved it because it was its own little universe, and it was a parallel universe. And you go, well, that's Spider-Man, and that's Spider-Man, and that's what the drop to the.
But then they went back. It was all back
And then,
normal.
and then, well, that
Sort
was,
of.
that's kind of the Marvel problem is they do this thing, and then they go, psych, and then, oh, it's just a dream, or Scarlet Witch says some words, and
It's
it's all
kind of
over.
like comic book fans are kind of like Charlie Brown, and the companies are kind of like Lucy. They're football out there, and they fall for it every time.
You're absolutely right.
And
That's what I meant about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like I didn't read Spider-Man for a while, and then Civil War came along, and I started to get real excited about Spider-Man, so I started picking it up. Then they did some stuff, and all that were fine. But then they did One More Day for Angel Day yesterday, whatever it was. And then all of a sudden, all that was like, oh, that didn't count. And then you look at the stack of comics that you just bought, or you look at your entire collection for 20 years, and you go, so what, that didn't happen? Or it did? Or, and then Joe Quesada tries to do this thing where he says, it happened, but no one remembers it. And you can just look at any event, and you go, well, yeah, but how come this guy is still there? How about that? But where did, this guy wasn't here, and now he is.
It's magic.
Huh?
It's magic.
Well, in 20 years though, people are going to remember. That's going to be the new
Yeah, that's fine.
plot in 20 years. Is, hey, remember back 20 years ago when they did this?